We often assume that the best way to ensure a successful future is to eliminate as much hardship as possible. We spend a massive amount of energy trying to smooth out the road, operating under the belief that safety is the primary requirement for growth. A young boy visiting his home village operated on that exact assumption. He looked at his grandfather, a man who had built a life of respect and stability, and asked him how he could eventually achieve the same thing. The grandfather didn't offer a verbal explanation. Instead, he took the boy to a local plant nursery, bought 2 identical fragile green saplings, and carried them back home. Real wisdom rarely translates through a list of spoken rules. To understand how capability is actually built, the boy needed to see the mechanics of growth play out in physical space over a long period of time. The grandfather took the first sapling and planted it securely in a pot indoors. Inside the house, it was completely insulated from the environment, shielded from wild temperature swings, harsh weather, and any natural predators. He took the second sapling and planted it directly in the dirt of the front yard. This one was entirely exposed to the elements, left to face blistering afternoon heat, freezing cold, and sudden heavy storms. With the variable set, the grandfather turned to his grandson and asked which of these 2 identical plants would eventually grow larger and more resilient. The boy chose the indoor plant. It was a logical choice. He reasoned that because the plant lived in an environment without threats, it could dedicate every bit of its energy to growing taller without the distraction of fighting to survive. Most people share that perspective. We are biologically wired to seek the path of least resistance, assuming that if we can bypass a threat, we are making our journey more efficient. 2 years went by. When the boy returned to the village, he was eager to see if his prediction held true. They inspected the indoor plant first. Despite 2 full years of perfect safety and ideal conditions, the plant was remarkably small. Its stems remained thin and its leaves looked pale and delicate. Then they walked outside to check the second plant. Given the relentless sun and the severe winds the area endured, the boy expected to find a struggling, battered sapling. Instead, he found a massive tree. Its trunk had thickened significantly, and its heavy branches dominated the yard, casting a wide, dark shadow over the grass. The indoor plant stayed small because its environment never required it to be anything else. Without a reason to adapt, it remained in a state of permanent stagnation. To understand why the outdoor tree thrived, we have to look below the surface at the way plants respond to physical pressure. When high winds push against a trunk, they create mechanical stress. This lateral force is a direct threat to the tree's stability, literally trying to pull its roots out of the ground. The tree survives this pressure by using it as a signal to expand its root system. It drives those roots deeper and wider into the soil, creating a massive subterranean network to lock itself into the earth. The indoor plant never experienced that wind. Because there was no force pushing against it, its roots remained shallow and weak. It stayed fragile because nothing ever challenged it to become strong. The tree requires this external resistance to trigger its grounding system. Without the struggle against the wind, the biology that creates a stable base simply never activates. Humans function in a very similar way. A life entirely stripped of struggle often produces a fragile character. If we engineer a life that is perfectly safe and predictable, we strip away the exact stressors needed to build competence. This leaves us unequipped for the inevitable crises that the real world eventually provides. Every problem you encounter functions as a form of resistance training. These challenges test your current limits, which in turn forces you to expand them to meet the new demand. This was the lesson the grandfather wanted to show. Struggle is a natural function of living. Trying to remove one eventually compromises the other. The next time you are faced with a difficult challenge, resist the urge to look for the easiest possible exit. Every hardship and every setback is a form of experience. That experience becomes the foundation you rely on when you decide to take on even bigger goals in the future. When things get difficult, remember the tree in the yard. The storms you endure are the forces expanding your roots, making you unshakable. If you know someone currently facing their own storm, share this story with them. It might help them see their struggle as a process of building strength rather than just a stroke of bad luck. Strength is built in the middle of a storm, not in the safety of a room. Keep facing the wind, and subscribe for more stories that matter.
If you like this video, then please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.